What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below, but if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. It really does. And just a huge thank you, each and every one of you, for taking the time out of your day to be here. It's incredible. Thank you so much. And with that being said, let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from Throwaway Kenilsk. Don't know if I pronounced that right. Am I the arsehole for evicting my late son's girlfriend from my house? My late son, 43 male, and I were estranged for a very long time. Probably around the time he was 25, greatly in part because of his on-again, off-again drinking problems. Around 2 years ago, we reconnected. Alcoholism has ravaged his life and his body, and he had been out of work for close to 8 years. His girlfriend, 45 female, and him had 3 daughters, 10, 8 and 3, that he never told me about, but the store she was a manager at closed, so she was now out of work too. They were going to get married, but he couldn't afford a ring. They were soon evicted from their apartment and had no place to go. I have a house that I bought in cash 5 years prior, so I let them move into it around a year ago. They offered to pay rent, but after the first 2 months, they said they were swamped with medical bills for my son and still paying their eldest daughter's hospital bills for childhood leukemia. Around that time, my son confessed that he had advanced liver cirrhosis. I tried to get his girlfriend to get him to stop drinking. She would yell at me and sit down and cry when my son was in the middle of vomiting black bile with his entire body so yellow. She rambled on about how she spent 20 years with him and cannot stop hoping that he'll pull through and they'd get married and be a happy family. I had to stop visiting after that, mostly because soon after their eldest hysterically called me and said her dad didn't recognise her anymore, and I realised his mind had gone. My son finally died of his cirrhosis 2 months ago. His girlfriend started wailing in the hospital and saying a lot of mean things to me about my son in general, saying she wasted her youth with him and who was going to love her now. The house was falling into disarray as his girlfriend did nothing but cook for her kids and stare aimlessly at job postings. She's cold to me every time I come in, and the kids would be as well. While I feel for her, I always thought my son was moving in a temporary situation, and that's what he agreed to as well. I was thinking of putting the house up for sale for a while now, and in the meantime my girlfriend's twin brother needed a place to stay when he starts his MBA in the fall. He was a property manager in college, so he agreed to get it into optimal condition for buyers. When I had my son send the notice to her that I needed her to move out, she called me and said that she could not believe I was being so cruel to a single mum. It's been a month, and when I gave her the chance to move again, she said have some heart and hung up, even though she can't pay rent. I had my lawyers file an eviction complaint and had her served a couple of days ago. She called me screeching about how I was a bastard for trying to make room for my girlfriend's twin, and sobbed saying where would she go with 2 evictions on her record. Am I the arsehole? She's 45 years old and not my responsibility. Now I can potentially see this going 2 ways, maybe 3 ways, I don't know. So it's a real hot mess, this one. And you know, from an empathy standpoint, I would say, and this is purely my opinion and what I think I would be doing in this situation, it might not be the right decision, it might not be the right move, because this is this person's house and you know, they have the right to do what they want with it, whether they want to kick someone out or not. But for me, this family has been through an awful lot with the whole drinking problem, and mainly I'm saying you're the arsehole because of the grandchildren. Sure, it doesn't sound like this person knows them all that well, but they're still your grandchildren. Yes, you don't have responsibility over them, but they're still children, one that's battled with cancer themselves, and they've obviously had to finance a lot of medical issues going forward for the alcoholism and the cancer itself. So do they have the money to pay rent? Obviously not, because of these situations. And I know some people are going to say absolutely not the arsehole because it's their house and stuff, but in my heart, if I was in that position, I don't think I could do that. So in my heart, you're the arsehole because of that, and that's the only reason. And I value your opinions too. If you do say not the arsehole, absolutely more power to you. I understand where you're coming from. But Susapi says, this is a rough situation, and first I'm sorry for your loss, and quotes, his girlfriend started wailing in the hospital and saying a lot of mean things to me about my son in general, saying she wasted her youth with him and who was going to love her now. and then says she chose to stay with your son for 20 years knowing he was an alcoholic. She knowingly put herself in this situation by not seeking help or leaving during that time. I think this really sucks, but mostly for your granddaughters. It doesn't seem like you even acknowledge them as part of your family, referring to them as her kids. They're your son's kids too. I'm going to go with everyone sucks here. It's horrible your son died and left your grandkids without a father. It sucks that his girlfriend is struggling to care for them and is being rude and obnoxious instead of being proactive. And it sucks that you, after writing your son off years ago, are not able to realise you have an opportunity to help your family still because you don't acknowledge them because of issues their father had. And Consistent Cheesecake says, you're not just evicting his girlfriend though, you're evicting his 3 children, your grandchildren. If you're fine making your grandkids homeless, I guess that's your choice, but it's a pretty damn harsh one. And quotes, I had to stop visiting after that, mostly because after their eldest hysterically called me and said that her dad didn't recognise her anymore, and I realised his mind is gone. Doesn't that mean you should have visited more to support your grandchildren? Your oldest grandkid has leukemia. How is she going to stay in treatment if she's homeless? You can legally do whatever you want, but I think you're the arsehole. And Spindacina says, 2 months, the ink isn't even dry on his death certificate and you're kicking out his wife and children. I hope you don't like those kids, because I can guarantee you if you do this, they might never talk to you again. And A Note to Cocktail says, you're the arsehole. Those are your grandchildren. Does it suck? Yes. Is it your responsibility? No. Should you have helped her? Without a doubt. Like, this is absolutely heartless. I can't believe a grandpa would do this to his grandchildren. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in this situation? Put yourself in OP's shoes and you wanted the house back. Would you feel right to kick out those people at your house? It is your house, so you do have the right to do that. Or would you have some empathy for them and their situation? Although they may be pushing their luck too. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And our next story comes from Agreeable Pin, and I just saw this story and I had to read it. Am I the arsehole for asking my neighbour to stop letting his cats look through the windows? I, 35 female, have a Jack Russell Terrier, who is usually very well behaved but goes crazy at the sight of cats and will bark incessantly, which, as you can imagine, gets really annoying. My neighbour has like 3 cats, which he doesn't seem to allow to go outside, which I think is part of the problem. They're always looking out the window, which makes my dog, who also likes to look out the window, bark and distract me. Yesterday I went outside and asked my neighbour if he could stop letting his cats look out the window because of my dog. He said that it really wasn't an option, apologised and went to go back inside. But I got angry because he wasn't listening and asked if he can consider getting gates or something for his windows. He, out of the blue, told me that I was acting entitled and that I obviously had no idea what it was like to own cats, which isn't true because I had cats when I was younger. My neighbour went back inside before I could say anything else. I was pretty firm with myself for a while, but now I'm worried that I may have been unreasonable with my request. Am I the arsehole? So I've got this scene in my head of 2 houses quite close to each other, windows facing each other. In one window, there's a couple of cats sat there plotting to take over the fucking world, like cats do, right? And then in the other window, a dog going absolutely crazy, batshit crazy, jumping around, barking. And the problem I see here, how can the OP not see the hypocrisy of what they're saying, that their dog is the one going mental? The cats in the other window are absolutely fine, just sat there chilling out, having a great time. Probably know what they're doing in secret, but you know what cats are like. They don't give a shit. Whereas this dog is going absolutely mental. Why can't OP see the real problem here? It's your goddamn dog. But I love the fact, I just love it, that someone's wound themselves up so much to write a post on Am I the Arsehole, and they think they're right about the situation and they can't see the simple obvious truth in front of them. I absolutely love that about this sub. Of course you're the arsehole. But Am Frank says, you're the arsehole. Why is your dog allowed to look outside but your neighbour's cat aren't? Also, you make it sound like a bad thing that his cats are indoors all the time. Sounds to me that he's a responsible cat owner, since outdoor cats are at risk of injury from cars, other animals, and often wreak havoc on local wildlife, particularly birds. Your neighbour is right, you are acting entitled. MM172 says, you're the arsehole. Do Do you understand how cats work? You can't tell them not to stare at things. It's kind of a core feature of the operating system. And if it were possible, why should they be kept away from windows because you got a rambunctious dog and can't figure out how to train it properly? And Trans Fatty Acid says, you're the arsehole lol. Imagine having the gall to tell another person what they can do inside their own home because your dog is poorly trained. Your neighbour was far more polite than I would have been. I'd have probably put stuffed cats in my window to tempt your dog. You legit don't know shit about cats either. They should be indoor animals, both for their sake and the local ecosystem. Cat TV, where they look out windows, is highly encouraged by vets and pet behaviourists, etc. Train your dog, dummy. Now I turn this one to you guys. What would you have said to her if she came out and said this to you? How would you have felt? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Bouncing Beanbag. Am I the arsehole for keeping a bag for myself that my daughter wanted to buy instead of giving it to her as a birthday present? My 17-year-old daughter turns 18 at the end of this month. She doesn't expect anything for her birthday. She's a modest girl for her age and has never asked for anything from anyone. We're out shopping at a thrift store and she found a purse she wanted. It was $9. I told her to put it in the cart. She didn't get anything else from the store because there wasn't much she was interested in. I set the bag down at the checkout with the rest of the items I was buying since it was just one item she found, so I wanted to save time and group it with my things instead of doing separate checkouts. We arrived back home, I got a good look at the purse and I really liked the bag. I know she found it herself and I already have so many purses myself, but I searched for it online after she found it and can't find it anywhere, so this could be the only time I'd find it. Oh god, please don't do this, mum. Please don't do this. My daughter was looking at the bag, I told her how much I love the bag and that it was $9. She was talking about how much she liked it very much as well. I felt bad that she bought me a coffee mug I liked at the shop, so I told her she could use the bag once in a while if she wants, or if she really liked it, then she could buy it from me for $9. Apparently, her and her dad had a secret conversation over texting. Her father and I are separated. We have been for several years. He sent me a rude message about how he doesn't pay me hundreds of dollars for child support for me to not get my daughter something, especially since her birthday is coming up. I responded and told him that it's not as if he's ever gotten her anything for her birthday or for Christmas, so he's being awfully hypocritical about parenting. Then he argued that I don't let him see our daughter. I offered my daughter that she could borrow the bag or buy it from me for $9. She had two choices. I bought this bag, so it is ultimately mine. She can buy her own gifts if she wants. She's an adult at 18. Adults buy themselves gifts if they really want them for their birthdays. And you bloody did it as well. God damn it. And the whole issue with this post is that you implied that was a gift to her. When you said you was out shopping at a thrift store and she saw a purse she wanted and it was $9, you told her to put it in the cart. Now to me, and probably many other people, that would be implied that you're buying that for her. Not a nice find, I'll take that off your hands, put it in the basket. Jesus Christ, man. And the way you called her a modest girl for her age and has never asked for anything from anyone. But this one time, the one time she has, and you fucking took it away from her, you... Oh, man. I'm stood up again. Let me sit back down here. Wow. On what planet do you think you wouldn't be the arsehole in this situation? Because whatever planet it is, you need to go back there. But Salacious says, you're the arsehole. Wow. The fact that she never asked for anything from anyone, and the one time she actually does ask you for something and you want to keep it for yourself. What is wrong with you? And Freckle Bitch says, you're the arsehole. When a kid tells you they like something and their birthday is coming up and you say put it in the cart, it's implied that it will be a gift. Later deciding to keep it unless she pays you for it, it's honestly selfish and cruel. I don't blame her for complaining to her dad. You probably made her feel like she was the crazy one for being upset after you got her hopes up and then bait and switched her. Goddess Eterma says, you're the arsehole. The way you said it while you were in the store really made it sound like you were just going to get it for her. It sounds like you changed your mind once you looked at it and decided you liked it. Are you giving her anything for her birthday? Honestly, you don't sound like a mum here. You sound like an older sister trying to pull rank on the younger. Just give her the bag if it's no big deal that it was $9. And Christy Lane says, wow, you're the arsehole. I have a bunch of Coach bags. I'd love to be able to send her a couple of them. But you'd probably claim them as your own because you were the one to post this horrible story of you being a horrible parent. As soon as you started saying, oh, I'd love to send them, I thought, don't do it. She'll take them off your hands. She'll nick them. But now, what would you do in this situation if you was the daughter and your mum or parent did this to you? how would you feel? How would you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below. My word, man. And brace yourself for this next one because, oh god. Am I the arsehole for being grossed out that my girlfriend put poop in our bathtub/washing machine? My 31 male, girlfriend 26 female moved in with me a few months ago. A bit of the initial romance illusion has shattered since she just flat out tells me whenever she's sick and gives details, like if she threw up, has a heavy period, whatever. But I accept that this is life and that's just information you get if you share space with someone. I'm just adjusting to it, but she claims need to see women as pretty things. In her words, it's colouring my view of the situation that happened yesterday, so it's relevant background. I think this is a hygiene issue. She was driving me to work yesterday, which is pretty close, maybe 15 minutes drive from our apartment. Halfway there we were on the freeway and she started saying she felt sick and wanted to pull over, but there really wasn't a good place to do it, so she just kept going and asked if she could use the bathroom at my work, and I said sure, that wouldn't be a problem. When we got there she said never mind, she just needs to go home. She looked mad, and when I asked she just kept saying she has to go home, so she did. When I got home I asked her how she was feeling and she said she was better. She also told me she had period poops earlier and had a minor accident in the car. First I was grossed out and told her she's a literal adult and she shouldn't have accidents when she can hold it in a few minutes to find the bathroom, which was a bit rude. I was just shocked because I know sometimes if you have the flu or something accidents can rarely happen, but she isn't sick and periods are something she has all the time, so you'd think she had a handle on them by now, but okay. The real problem was her taking her jeans out of the washer. I asked if they were the ones that she wore in the car, and why didn't she just throw them away? She said it was fine because it was just a small dot, and that she washed them in the bathtub first before the washer, which in my opinion is worse. Basically, she contaminated the bathtub and washing machine with body waste. I basically said please wash the inside of the machine and the bathtub with bleach because it grosses me out to think using them now, and she called me an arsehole and we had it out for a while. I was raised in a household where we would definitely just throw clothes out if they came into contact with pee, puke or poop. There are literal waste products and it's dirty to have particles of it around your living space. She thinks I'm being insensitive, but I am respecting that she feels sick. It isn't about that, it's about spreading the dirt around the apartment. Was I the arsehole here, or was she? You can't be real, man. Ah, my word. Anyway, let's have a look at this. But I'm just curious in this story, does this guy literally chuck away every single piece of underwear he wears because, you know, it touches his ass? It's all contaminated. Chuck it all in the bin, we can't have that in the house. Toxic waste. But Clutter Renegade says this better than I ever could. Okay, she didn't actually put logs of shit into the bathtub and the washer. It was a small dot, and it was washed with soap and hot water, I presume. Same way you'd wash your bum. Or your kid's bum, should there be any kids. I have so many questions about this. How do you imagine thinking that she should get a handle on period poops? Do you think she is having them on purpose for the pure joy of it? If throwing out anything contaminating is a must, if you accidentally throw up on your arm or pee on your foot, will you have to amputate? If not, where do you wash up? Also, where are your romance feelings based on not knowing where your partner had heavy flow or throws up? What's up with that? Oh, I almost forgot. You're the arsehole. And Kart says she has periods all the time, so she'd have a handle on them by now. Are you serious? Are you aware of the reason why periods can affect things like bowel movement, and that when things happen, it is in fact not something you can control? Do you think you could spend a few minutes educating yourself on this topic before you cause her any more embarrassment and upset by essentially shaming her for something she didn't choose to battle with and can't really do anything to change? If she was able to just not have an accident, why in the world would she have one in the first place? By definition, it is not an accident if you have control over it. The only thing that worries me here is that she seems to have really difficult periods that are causing her pain and quite severe bodily distress. If she isn't already talking to a doctor about this, then perhaps she should, as it must be awful to go through this sort of thing on a monthly basis. Maybe if you don't want to hear that level of detail about it, you could tell her to tone it down, but it's interesting that she's the one who's unwell and you're somehow the victim here. Last but not least, I'm not aware of your socio-economic situation, but for the vast majority of my life, if I had to throw away any item of clothing that came into contact with some bodily fluid, I'd be parading around naked on a regular basis because I've never been able to afford new clothes every single month. If you wash your clothes at high enough temperature, it comes out perfectly clean and germ-free. in the nicest possible way, you need to get over yourself. Now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation and the way this guy thinks? It's absolutely crazy to think there is someone out there in the world with this kind of mindset. It just blows my mind. It really does. Now, let me know what you think in the comments below. Once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories as much as I did. As I said, I love reading to you guys. I love having a blast and, you know, getting involved with the channel and talking to you guys. I'm sorry I've been a bit quiet on the comments front and, you know, in Discord and stuff just recently. A lot going on. I'm nearly caught up with everything, so we'll be back on track very, very soon. Once again, thank you for the time out of your day, and I will see you, hopefully, if you enjoyed the content, of course. If you made it this far, I hope you have, in the next one. Much love, guys. Take care now. Goodbye.